Go to Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Exactly 2 hours ago, polls closed in the state primary. We've got the results coming in as we speak, which we will bring you throughout tonight's broadcast. We have full team coverage, but we begin tonight at a Minot watch party at the Grand Hotel with reporter Jack Springate.
Thanks, Molly. It has been a long election day, and we actually have two of the aldermen who are incumbent candidates here at the Lux Lounge at the Grand Hotel. That's Mark Janser and Lisa Olson. I spoke with them earlier, and they're excited. They're relaxed. We're still waiting on those results. We've even seen appearances by Chuck Barney and City Manager Tom Berry as well. But another important thing to note about this election that it doesn't just affect Minot, but many of the results of these elections will come up again in November when there's the November general elections for Ward County, for the state of North Dakota, and even federal seats as well. But for now, we're just patiently waiting here at the Lux Lounge at the Grand Hotel in Minot, and we'll have more for you when results come in. Molly?
All right, thanks, Jack. We continue our team coverage right now. Andrew Horn joins us live in studio with the most contested match of the night.
That's right, Molly. First up is the Bismarck mayoral race, where it looks like Steve Bakken is actually ahead of incumbent Mayor Mike Seminary, and the other challenger, Isaac Afakwa, is sitting in third. Again, Steve Bakken right now is leading incumbent Mike Seminary, but Molly, you've got a better rundown of more of the races going on tonight.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Next is Bismarck City Commission. Nancy Guy is the incumbent, and Josh Askvig is stepping down. Two people will win this. It's very close. It is tied almost by a fourth. Again, a lot of these numbers coming in are preliminary numbers, and this, we don't know if it's a sign of low voter turnout or just they have not counted them yet. So a lot of this is preliminary numbers. We're getting our first look at who's taking the lead in these races. Up next, we have the Bismarck School Board. Now, 3 of these candidates will advance. Not enough data, but here are the candidates. Again, 3 people will advance. Up next, we have Burleigh County Commission. Some numbers in for this. 6 of these will advance, so it looks like everyone's safe in this, and we'll see them at the November election. Up next, we have District 47. This is Republican representatives. 2 of these candidates will advance, so one of them is out. Again, very, very tight race. It looks like Larry Clement is coming in with almost 40%, 144 votes. But again, as we said, almost 40%, but he's only up by 3 votes from George Kaiser, who is coming in second. So we're going to have to wait and sort of sit on these races to find out just what they mean, and we'll bring these later in the broadcast. Up next, we have the Mandan City Commission. 2 of these 5 will make it to November. We have in the lead here with 23%, Dennis Roher. Again, these are only by a couple votes. These are extremely close races and ultimately might just be decided by a handful of votes. After that, we have the Mandan School Board. Now, this is for the June primary. We have a leader here with Sheldon Wolf. Sheldon Wolf coming in with 78 votes. These are all 1 vote apart. So again, let's not hold our breath on any of these races. They are too close to call, but so far, this is how many have been counted. Up in Minot, the public school board, 2 of these will win. Not enough information. Up next, we have Minot Municipal Judge. No votes in on that either. Again, people, this is live TV. We are breaking this as we get it. We have Ward County Sheriff.
That's right, Molly. The Ward County Sheriff incumbent is Bob Barnard right now. 2 of these people are going to move on to the general election in November, and it looks like that the incumbent Sheriff Barnard is in the position right now to move on, but Robert Rode is in the lead for that right now. And Molly, you've got an update on the Secretary of State's race, which is going to be a little interesting this time with, incumbent Secretary Jager running as an independent and all that. So why don't you go ahead and fill us in a little more with that?
Andrew, this has really been one of our most reported races. This is Secretary of State. During the Republican convention, it was a huge, huge upset when Will Gardner took over Al Jager's spot for the nomination of the party. Unfortunately, Will Gardner removed himself from the race after some reports came out of a peeping Tom incident and a disorderly conduct charge he had in the year 2006. He bowed out of the race, and Al Jaeger said he would step in. Unfortunately, Al Jaeger did not have enough time to actually get his name on the ballot, so Will Gardner's name remains on the ballot, and he is currently pulling ahead with 93% of the vote, and this is a ton of votes counted. So this write-in candidate could be Al Jaeger, we don't know, but it's only at 7%. So this is really going to be a race to watch coming up in November. But again, I mean, this, I think really, Andrew, this is sort of the standout race of the evening. Incredible knowing what people know, and here he is, Will Gardner, 93% of the vote. Now, we have a much better idea of what the next round of elections will look like. Today, I visited with voters for sort of a pulse check of what they actually want beyond the ballot. There's a casting call for ballots across the state. From lifelong voters,
I've never missed voting in any election,
to first-timers.
I never voted. I feel glad I did because it was a good feeling heading to adulthood and being more responsible.
Elizabeth Romanek pedaled to the polls today to punch in her political preferences. But she admits she might be playing favorites. And your dad's on the ballot. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that? What was it like seeing his name?
And I see my dad's name. He brings me joy, excitement, and I went for him because he is such an awesome dad. He makes me awesome.
Some other office hopefuls were spotted with the Scantron. Bismarck mayoral candidate Pastor Isaac Afokwa came to cast his ballot. He says win or lose, he thinks the city will be in good hands.
Both guys, Bacon and Mike Semner, they are all great guys, and whoever the Lord chooses to lead our city, I am going to go for it.
Tuesday's election will decide new city leaders and propel dozens of other candidates to the main event in November. The Bismarck Event Center, which holds 5 of the 38 precincts here in Burleigh County, filtered hundreds of voters today. One voter who moved to Burleigh County nearly a year ago says she wants change in the community when it comes to more accessibility for the disabled.
There's a lot of issues with me not being able to get into buildings or being able to use restrooms. So I want the city officials to help with that.
She says she hopes whoever wins in the city election can make a difference. When it comes to campaign spending, North Dakota doesn't play by the same rules as the rest of the nation. For one, after an election, win or lose, a state candidate can actually keep any leftover money. Minot State Political Science Coordinator Jeanette Larshis says those leftover funds can be rolled over into other runs. Also, gifts to candidates don't technically count as campaign contributions, no matter their monetary value.
We rank fairly low in terms of our campaign finance ethics. One of the biggest issues is we don't have an independent ethics committee that oversees or implements sanctions for unethical use of campaign funds.
Dr. Larshis says there's a renewed push for election ethics at the Capitol. She says a bill passed last legislative session that requires more detailed itemization of campaign spending. Speaking of campaign spending, the road to November is forecast to be one of the most expensive in state history. Tens of millions of dollars are expected to be dumped into the Senate race alone. We caught up with former North Dakota Senator Kent Conrad. Conrad said deciding how to use his unused funds was actually a pretty easy choice.
I chose to give my leftover campaign funds to political organizations and the individual candidates. And I did that because I thought people had given me money to support a person in public life, and that it was reasonable for me to do the same.
Conrad estimates there were about $900,000 left over. Some of those funds were donated to Heidi Heitkamp's campaign. Okay, let's take a break from elections really quick and let's send it over to Henry for our first check on weather.